Hello and welcome to InfoHub. Here's what you need to know for Tuesday, June 19, 2018. Guyana's laws provide for tough penalties against piracy, says Prime Minister Nagamutu. Venezuela has snubbed the ICJ, but Guyana will continue to peacefully resolve border controversy. Climate Change Office building capacity of towns as greening efforts advance, and MMA calls on farmers to pay their rates. Here are the details. Guyana says it will proceed with ICJ case to resolve the border controversy, even as Venezuela has snubbed the World Court. Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge met with the President of the International Court of Justice at The Hague on Monday, along with a Venezuelan contingent. Venezuela indicated that they will not take part in the matter despite claiming to respect the international justice body. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a statement said it will proceed with the matter despite Venezuela's uncooperative position. Article 53 of the Statute of the Court allow for the court to decide in favor of the claimant if the other party fails to defend its case. See dpi.gov.gy for a full background to the case. Turning to agriculture, the government has spent in excess of $300 million on the Mahaica-Maikoni-Abari Agriculture Development Authority's recurrent expenditure over the past 2 years. The agency will now fund its own capital program. Tiffany Rodias brings you more in this report.
General Manager of the MMA ADA, Aubrey Charles, says the agency is now dependent on rates paid by lessees to execute maintenance and other capital-related works.
Apart from the Edward Sluice, which was in the making, for the past 2 years, we have not received monies to do capital works or to do maintenance of the drainage and irrigation system. That is the money that comes from farmers.
According to Charles, for 2017 and 2018, the government funded the authority's recurrent expenditure to the value of over $320 million.
For the past 2 years, last year as well as this year, we get just recurrent funding to pay salaries, like bill, stationery and this kind of stuff, fuel to get your vehicle them moving. You just get that recurrent funding.
The MMA ADA is a semi-autonomous agency under the Ministry of Agriculture. Its main function is the administration of state lands in the West Berbice area. It provides services to aid in the agricultural production of the lands leased to farmers. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
7 North Rupununi communities have received checks amounting to millions for sustainable green projects under the Presidential Grant Fund. Senika Thorne has the details.
Minister Sidney Alikok handed over the checks to the village councils during a recent ministerial outreach in Region 9. Rewa, $1 million, extension of Women's Group Center. Masara, $1 million, upgrade of Sports Pavilion. Kwaimata, $800,000, construction of Village Bond. Waweta, $800,000, completion of Village Benab. Ruparti, $800,000, water distribution system. Quatamang, $800,000, water distribution system. Sarama, $800,000, construction of Benab at Village Airstrip. Other checks included $216,000 to the Waweta Agro Processing for 600 pounds of farine and $100,000 to the Bina Hill Institute for winning the first prize in a football competition. Minister Alikok encouraged the communities to properly manage their funds and ensure proper maintenance of the respective projects.
These buildings, when you're going to do them, ensure that you do a proper job. We don't want any sort of sloppy work and within 2 weeks the building falling down and all sorts of nonsense.
The Presidential Grant Program provides communities with the financial resources necessary to fund green sustainable projects that are aimed at providing the required services within their communities. Senika Thorne, InfoHub. Daddy!
Thanks for staying with us. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu has reiterated the laws of Guyana provide for tough penalties against convicted pirates. Gabriela Patram has the details.
In his Sunday column, My Turn in the Guyana Chronicle, the Prime Minister commented on the case of the 3 Guyanese fishermen who had been charged with several counts of murder following the recent piracy attacks in Suriname's waters. Prime Minister Nagamutu noted that the Hijacking and Piracy Act of 2008 provides Guyana with jurisdiction to try offenders through the act is committed in another country. He said, whatever the motive, I wish to remind all fishing folk and their hired hands that offences at sea carry serious penalties. These include life imprisonment for hijacking, life imprisonment for piracy, 10 years imprisonment for covering up a piracy attack where death resulted, and death by hanging for murder on board a vessel during an armed robbery, hijacking, or piracy. Prime Minister Nagamutu said with the advent of the coalition government, keen attention has been placed on border security, including monitoring of our fishing and maritime areas. The maritime wing of the Guyana Police Force, the Customs and Anti-Narcotics Unit, and the Guyana Defense Force have coordinated boat patrols by boat and air, which are necessary to protect the country's food-based economic activities, combat trafficking of illicit drugs, fuels, and other contraband, and to protect state revenues. Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
On the environmental front, with the country's push towards a green state, the Office of Climate Change is focusing efforts on several towns by improving their energy use. More in this report. Head Office of Climate Change Janelle Christian said while Bartica has been chosen as a pilot green town, plans are in place for training and capacity building of technical personnel in renewable energy use in the others. During a recent interview, she explained how this will be achieved.
But what we intend to do is because as we all know, Bartica is a pilot. What we intend to do, because all of this is also necessary in the other townships, and we also know the government is already starting implementing actions for installation of PV system on public buildings. And so through the Guyana Energy Agency, this is already happening in other townships. And so we feel that we could widen the opportunity for training. So not just focusing on Bartica, using the toolkits that have been handed over by the UNDP to try to bring in some of the other technical maintenance folks from the other municipalities.
According to Christian, this will ensure that when these projects are implemented in the other towns, the personnel will be efficient in the management of these photovoltaic systems. A socio-economic and energy survey is soon to be conducted in Bartica and will involve a collaboration between key stakeholders and a consultancy firm.
This will inform solutions. We need to have a sense of what is happening on the ground, what are particular information in terms of energy and also socioeconomic type information, and also other information that the sectors consider important. And so they will be working closely with the firm to design the instrument, agree on the methodology and the data sets that will be important even as we look to take forward the President's vision for greening.
She noted too that the country's National Appropriate Mitigation Action has also identified transport, wastewater management and renewable energy as the priority areas for the greening of towns. Turning to health now. Resident emergency nurses currently undergoing training at the Georgetown Hospital have benefited from new stethoscopes. Delicia Haynes tells us more.
Assistant Nursing Professor Dr. Shondell Hickson says it's critical that each emergency room nurse is equipped with a stethoscope since it will assist in maximizing their performance.
That the nurses in Guyana can benefit from a stethoscope, and it's something that I take for granted so much. It's like everyone have one, and so I was moved. So at first I said to myself, I'm going to give 2, and I was like, no, I'm not going to give 2. So I decided to rally the faculty and staff of Austin Peay State University, and so we were able to get the bulk of this.
Further, the head of the Accident and Emergency Unit of the GPHC, Dr. Zulfikar Bucks, said that the use of the stethoscope should not be overlooked since it is the key in detecting life-threatening health abnormalities.
I'm one of the persons that grew up in the age of medicine where, other than your hands, the second most important tool was the stethoscope. You should be able to, with your hands, your history taking, your examination, and of course, with your stethoscope, you should be able to have a strong idea of what's going on with the patient and use those advanced modalities to confirm what you're thinking.
The second-year resident students will be conferred with a degree in emergency nursing when they graduate in November. This ongoing program is the first of its kind in the Caribbean. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
The Small Business Bureau on Friday wrapped up its soap manufacturing workshop for vulnerable groups in Linden. Renetta Lafleur brings us this report.
The event, which aimed to develop or improve small businesses in the tongue, attracted approximately 27 young persons who welcomed the initiative.
Well, benefiting from this program is actually a privilege for me as a young man. It has been a challenge and a learning experience for me. I want to say a special thank you to Small Business Bureau for presenting this wonderful idea of soap business in Linden, giving the youths a knowledge on creating their own business.
I want to thank Small Business and Miss Young for bringing this program to us. It's a good one. I would have learned so much from it. Like myself and some of the other ladies, we are happy for this program because we intend to prolong it, right, and go through into business for it.
I've learned a lot since I've been here. Since Monday, I've learned a lot. I never knew making soap was this easy.
The event lasted from June 11 to the 15th. Moderator of the workshop, Melissa Young, said she was pleased and very encouraged with the turnout and enthusiasm for the workshop.
We started with about, I think it was 17 persons on Monday, but we went up to 27, and we have had a pretty consistent turnout. I want to say that I'm very encouraged by the response that the young people have shown. They're very, very energetic. They're very motivated to get into business of, I won't say any form, but they have talent. And I feel as though this is a nice stepping board for them to move on, to either get into their own soap making business or further afield.
The just concluded workshop will also reach Georgetown and Lethem. It is part of the Micro and Small Enterprise Development and Building Alternative Livelihoods for Vulnerable Groups project. Renetta Lafleur for InfoHub.
In another successful Small Business Bureau story, the government's efforts to foster free enterprise at the school level has seen several students from the Bartica Secondary reaping benefits from the Bureau's in-school entrepreneurship pilot program. Crystal Stahl joins us with that report.
The project, which aided grade 9 and 10 students with their school-based assessment projects, saw the development of several viable businesses. InfoHub traveled to the Region 7 school and spoke with some of the beneficiaries of the program, including teachers. Grade 10 student Janiska Blair.
I'm doing boilers board and it's going good. I start off with 25 and after slaughtering the 25 I bought 30. So as I keep going, I buy more and extending the pin. The first bar, the 25, I gained a profit of 30,000.
Head of the Agriculture Department at the school, Sandra Gibson, said the SBB's program has profited the students in many ways.
I thought it was a very good initiative to give these students an opportunity to monitor their own business. They came up with what they wanted to do. And so I think that was sometimes we underestimate students, but I think this was something to bring them out of their shells. To me, they did well for a first try.
InfoHub will be highlighting more of the beneficiaries of the in-school entrepreneurship program in its InfoHub extended program on Friday. Be sure to watch. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
Here now are your bridge and weather reports. And finally, here are your World Cup match results for today. Goodbye.